Here is your choice. We can either go to the dustbin of history and we can continue the policies that we are on. We can listen to the arrogant politicians who say that the American people are stupid and they don't get it. We just haven't explained it to them enough. Yeah, you have. We heard enough. Or we can stand up, and it begins in November, but it's a long, long fight. Stand up, square our shoulders, and say, as Gandhi said, we don't hate you. We just want you to leave. John Bolton is here, Stewart Varney, and Daniel Hannan is also here. Ambassador, before I get to the engine of America that needs to be restarted and the idea engine of America, the entrepreneurial spirit, could you give us a little bit on what is it that Americans should know, should read, should guard against? What's the best? Give me something to do to guard against global governance.
Send me back to the United Nations.
Oh, my. If I were president, you'd be the king of the world.
No, please. Look, I think you've summed it up exactly right. We need a public debate, and we need to make some choices this November and in subsequent Novembers about what direction we want the country to go in. And I fully understand why people are concerned about jobs and the economy, but our president is pursuing a much broader, much more dangerous agenda, and we need to get that out, because I think if Americans really focused on it, they would reject it overwhelmingly, and that is the first and most critical step.
But I'm such a naive. I really believed that when I could produce the evidence, which I have on this program, in their own words, not my words, their words, that other people in the media would be honest. And boy, was that stupid. Maybe I'm the stupid one in America that John Kerry and the elites keep talking about. Where do you find the information, John? The average person, what do they do? What if they want to understand? And people are reading The Road to Serfdom, the old one, not the new one, the old one. 70,000 copies were sold after appearing on this program. It sells 7,000 a year. So is there a book, is there anything that can help people understand what they're up against?
I think there's a lot of information out there, and I think one thing the Tea Party movement has done since it came from the people themselves is that it's gotten a lot of people doing exactly that kind of research. I think it's clear that this is the most amazing grassroots movement we've seen in the United States in a long time. Some of the work that you have done to get people to go back, read the Constitution, read the founding documents, focus on what the framers meant, it's having an enormous impact. It's not going to happen in one election, but I think these changes underway are going to be the salvation of the country.
Okay. Ambassador, I know we have to cut you loose. You have an appointment, so I thank you very much for being with us. Let me go to our British friends. You're both believers in the power of America, right?
Yes.
Daniel, I know you've written a new book, The New Road to Serfdom, a letter of warning to America, which is basically common sense, really, a new common sense.
Mm-hmm. Which was, of course, written by another Brit.
Not so much. He regretted that whole being born in Great Britain thing. Anyway, you believe in the power of America. I think we all three see and feel what's going on here. There is a great awakening. I believe that we're at the beginning of the third great awakening in America, which will change everything. But they're not going to let go of this power and this opportunity. This is the opportunity these progressives have waited for 100 years, to fundamentally shut the Constitution and cap America's power and go global. What needs to happen? Because you're concerned about one of the things I'm concerned is that we are really going towards inflation.
Sure. I mean, this report that you were citing at the beginning, talking about the shift in power from America to Asia, that isn't some natural, inexorable force. This is not like a glacier or a trade wind. It's happening for a reason, a political reason, which you could do something about. And it's very easy to say what that reason is. This country has been encouraged by the Federal Reserve, in common with other Western countries, to consume without producing. Fed policy has been based on the idea that consumption is what drives growth. But actually, consumption, of course, is a consequence of growth. You start consuming when there is more that you've produced. I was very alarmed this week to see the Federal Reserve admitting that inflation was its policy. It's now become a stated objective, that this is the best way for them to get rid of the debt which this administration has run up. In other words, that they will debauch private savings in order to erode the public debt that the government has taken on. You can't carry on doing that forever. This is ultimately, if everyone is consuming and no one is producing, if you have inflation, if you have debt, ultimately the wealth will shift to China and to other places which are still making things.
Well, basically, I think what you're saying here is if, let's say we are the Rockefellers, and the Rockefellers started Standard Oil. If somebody would have come to them, an advisor, and just said, stop all industry, stop everything that's making money, stop your exploration of oil, do nothing. You got to spend all your wealth. And that story kind of happened with the Rockefellers, but they were still producing. Eventually they run out of money.
Right.
Because they're not making any more money. And that's where we are. We're like the,
You have run out of money.
We've run out of money.
And we now, I mean, we were there, but we just drew back from the